You all right, Julie? I'll write it for you. It's nice to have you. Thank you.
30 seconds.
Hey, Bobby. You're gonna take that over your food? The apple?
10 seconds.
Wait until the Halloween.
Stand by.
Welcome back to 3+U. Our next guest has a very powerful story to tell, but one that may be quite honestly difficult for young ears to hear. So now is your chance to find something else for your young children to do. But Michelle Taylor is the author of the book Lies in the Womb. It is a heart-wrenching account of more than 30 years of abuse. But her story really is one of triumph, and we are so happy to have her with us this morning. Nice to see you. One of the first things we notice about you when you come in the room is your smile. You have a very gracious countenance about you, but your story is heartbreaking, and we could talk all day about it. But let's start really by setting up the book, because it's called Lies in the Womb, an unusual title that's there for a reason.
Yes. I was my mother's lie in the womb. My mother was married to another man, and she had an affair and got pregnant with me. And so she had a 3-year-old daughter, and when she went to court to gain custody of her 3-year-old daughter, which was older than me, they considered her unfit mother. So she lost custody of her child. And so when I was born, she blamed me. And during my life in childhood, my mother showed me no love or no compassion at all, and I couldn't do anything right.
As a result, you left home.
At 15 years old.
And then you were left searching and not knowing how to define a good relationship.
None whatsoever. I got into a relationship where this man put me into a coma for 9 days. And also because I wouldn't have sexual relations with him, he stuck a hot coal in our inside.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the phone, so let's not get too involved, if you don't mind, with the details of what you did have to go through. Let's talk about, if we can, the epidemic of domestic violence in this country, because it doesn't go away, it increases year after year.
Well, what it starts out with is self-worth. If you don't have self-worth and self-value and you don't feel that within yourself, you can go from one relationship to another, but it's always going to be domestic, either verbally, abusive, or mentally. And I've been through all 3 of them.
What does it do to a person? Because we have a lot of people out there watching who may have a teenage child, son or daughter. If you allow yourself to get into a relationship where you are put down, what does that do to you over time?
It pushed me down to the very bottom. I used to think that I was lower than a snake's belly bottom. That's what it was. And because of God and my faith, and the 3 children that I have, I raised them by myself. If it wasn't for that, I would have never gotten out of that relationship. I would have continued.
And you went through 33 years with different people, your mother, husbands, other relationships, where you never knew how to stand up for yourself and how to find somebody who loves you. And now you have.
Oh gosh, I've got a wonderful husband. He's my best friend. He's my #1 fan. He supports me. We are very active in our church. I teach children and young girls now what to look for, because, and guys too, because if they hit you one time, the second time gets easier, the third time gets easier, and then it's always your fault. And they like that control. And if you look at the pattern, you'll see the patterns. And that's when I discovered, and it took until I was 44 years old to realize, hey, I need more than this in my life.
So how did you find the courage to leave your husband?
The last thing I said is I've got one foot in, one foot out. That's how I found my husband now. And it is an amazing story.
So when you look back, I would think a lot of people must look at your story, hear your story, and think, oh, she must be full of such anger. Are you?
It took me a long time, and yes, I was full of anger. My mother did some really horrific things to me, and I did blame my mother for a lot of things. But now, if you're a Christian, you've got to forgive in order to be forgiven. And that's what sort of makes me stay strong. And the husband that I have now, and we're very active, and it's just a wonderful part of my life now. I've never been more happier ever in my life.
Do you have any relationship at all?
I have no relationship whatsoever with my mother, my father, none whatsoever.
So how do you see, if you're the mother of 3 children who you love,
Yes.
unconditionally love,
Yes.
did that help you to heal?
Absolutely. I raised them by myself. And at the last husband, my children came to me and they always considered me a very strong person. But I hid it. I hid it so well. And most people that are abused, they learn to hide it. They're great actresses or actors. And what happened in my case is my children came to me and they said, Mama, what are you doing? And it just opened my eyes.
So you're here in town, you're from North Carolina, and you've kind of been traveling the country to a large degree promoting your book.
Absolutely.
Are you having any kind of an event where you're here?
No, I was in Harrisonburg, Virginia yesterday,
Okay.
which was totally awesome. And I've had great response on the book.
If you go on Amazon, I will tell you, they're out of print already.
Absolutely.
It is really selling out. But it is called Lies in the Womb, and her name again is Michelle Taylor. And certainly, if you are someone going through a similar situation, or if you know someone who is, it is ideal reading because you don't know what kind of inspiration you might find to break away yourself.
That's right, it's great.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you on with your new marriage.
Thank you.